The Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society podcast. Welcome to the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society, a podcast dedicated to suspense and horror stories from the golden age of radio. I'm Eric.
I'm Tim.
I'm Joshua.
We love scary old-time radio stories. There's nothing quite like a disembodied voice telling a genuinely disturbing tale. But do these stories stand the test of time, or are we being deceived by nostalgia? Are they suspenseful or forgettable, bone-chilling, or butt-numbing? That's what we're here to find out.
For tonight, I have chosen an episode of The Weird Circle, a series which adapted famous creepy stories from the world of literature, including the works of Edgar Allan Poe, Samuel Johnson, Charles Dickens, Robert Louis Stevenson, Charlotte Bronte,
And many more!
Between 1943 and 1945, 78 episodes were recorded in the RCA studios in New York. This particular story, Strange Judgment, was broadcast on March 19, 1944, and is based on the 1834 story Un drame au bord de la mer by Honoré Balzac.
The story's original title translates to A Drama on the Seashore, or more succinctly, a seaside tragedy. It was part of Balzac's series of interlinked stories, novels, and essays collectively known as the Human Comedy. This large collection includes nearly 100 completed works and refers to over 40 other incomplete ones, all combining into a rich, complex depiction of French society in the early 19th century. The original text of this story featured a framing device that was abandoned for this adaptation.
The Weird Circle is largely remembered for its distinctive introduction in which the announcer calls for the bellkeeper to toll the bell to indicate that the listeners had once again joined them in the titular loop.
Forget the petty distractions around you. Forget what you think you know. Forget everything but what you hear right now. It's late at night and a chill has set in. You're alone and the only light you see is from an antique radio. Listen to the sounds coming from the speaker. Listen to the music. And listen to the voices.
Out of the past, phantoms of a world gone by, speak again the immortal tale, The Strange Judgment.
Someone is on the trail below. Now they are coming closer, pointing at my cave, here so high above the sea. At the pile of moss which is my bed, and the granite slab my table, the stoneware pitcher, the loaf of dry bread. Soon they will turn. See now, just like the others, they are going back down the trail, like the village folk who go to the marketplace by another trail so as to avoid me. They will tell others about me, about the fearful old man in the cave above the sea with his little wooden cross. Ascetic old man with bloodshot eyes. They do not know the real reason I am here. That once, many years ago, before I took a vow to do penance in this prison in the open air, I lived down there on the little islet near the salt marshes at Guérande, lived with my wife, Brouin, and fished. Now only my niece Perrotte comes to me every morning, bringing me bread and talks to me. But I cannot answer. I can talk to no one, dare only to kiss her forehead. But then, so long ago, I had many friends. These shaggy hands do not show it, but I was strong then, and the muscles of my body were hard. I could fish with the best of them.
That Pierre Cambremer has the devil's own luck. He left no sardines for us others.
Can I help it that I know where fishes play, huh?
Look at your name.
So?
Cambremer, meaning the sea bends to your will.
It's in our family. We know our trade, huh?
Devil's luck, I call it.
Maybe. Oh, there is my wife.
Dear, I'm so glad you're back.
Hello, my wife.
Pierre, I've got good news for you.
And I have something to tell you. Come now, let us walk up the path to the house together, eh?
You look so happy, darling.
I should be. We have made money, my Cherie. We can afford a bigger vessel.
Oh, please, no, Pierre.
But the sardine fishery has brought us money. The boats we have are only small. With a bigger boat, I could go cod fishing.
Don't know. You'd be away so long. I love you so much, Pierre. The days and nights are so long when you're at sea.
Then I shall stop going for sardines.
No, I don't want that.
I know. Cod fishing is too long to be away.
I think so.
Then I shall stick to the sardines and a little deep-sea trade for the dealers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a good haul, this trip. Let me see. Here, look at this account. With the house and the island, the boats, and now this new catch. Well, one more trip and we will be worth money.
Much money?
12,000 livres, I should say.
Good.
Of course it is good. What woman in the village...
I mean because we'll need a little more now.
Cherie, what do you mean?
Remember how we talked about a little one?
I remember. Oh, no. You mean...
Mm-hmm.
Bruin. Oh, you sweet one. Maybe it will be a son, eh?
A son. Yes, a son.
And we'll name him Jacques.
Yes.
And when he is old enough, we'll take him to the carnival.
Yes, we'll take him to the carnival.
That is enough candy for today, Jacques.
No, Papa. I want that peppermint.
No, Jacques.
Let him have it, Papa.
Bruin, you are spoiling your boy. Here, please. Let me have half a dozen peppermint sticks. That ought to satisfy.
The doll. I want the gun.
But you are too young, little Jacques.
Next year, the gun, maybe. Take the doll.
No, I want the gun. I want the gun.
You see, Bruin, he has a will of his own, that boy. Oh, I'll buy that gun there, please.
I'm afraid, Pierre.
There it is, Papa. In that window. What a beautiful bicycle.
Pierre.
But, Mother, a boy of his age should have a bicycle.
The others in the village have none.
How now? Our Jacques is no ordinary boy. Here, this way. Step into the store with me. I will buy it for you now.
Pierre, we're spoiling him. He's so young and he wants so much. We're spoiling him dreadfully.
Oh, he will outgrow it. He is only 6. Wait until he is 10. He will not be spoiled when he is 10. Where is Jacques?
Upstairs.
Oh, Jacques!
I sent him upstairs.
Why, Bruin?
He's been fighting again. He all but killed Montre's son.
Oh. Why do you weep, Bruin?
They're saying in the village he put out Foucault's little girl's eye.
Nonsense. In the village they will talk about anything. Oh, but he will be one for the girls, that Jacques.
That isn't all. Last week the fowls, he twisted their necks just for fun. Such things make one bloodthirsty like a weasel.
Oh, it is nothing, Bruin. Do not weep, please. He is young. He is only 10. Wait till he grows older. He will be the perfect gentleman when he is 15. Wait and see.
Come on, sit down to supper, Pierre.
Ah, the stew, it smells good.
Pierre.
Where is Jacques, eh?
I don't know. Guérin, maybe, or Savenay. He's getting a little wild, Pierre.
Oh, a boy of 15 needs to be active. It is natural.
Pierre, remember the time you walked 20 leagues to repay a franc the dealer had overpaid you?
Yeah, that was a walk, eh?
Why isn't Jacques like that?
I don't... You mean... Has our Jacques taken money?
A little. I had a few coins and a jug in the cellar. Well, a young fellow needs money to carry on, I suppose.
But that is not right. No, that is not right. Oh, he's still young. Maybe in a year or two he will be settled. Maybe he will not be so wild. Who knows? Maybe he will calm down. Bruin! What is it, Cherie? This table, it is strange. What has happened to the other?
Oh, Pierre!
This furniture.
I know.
Oh, the furniture, it is not our stuff. What happened to it? Bruin! What happened to our furniture?
Look in the wardrobes, too, and in the closet.
the linens, they are gone.
The sheets, everything.
Where has this chair come from?
Neighbors, they loaned it to me.
You have traded our furniture?
No, Pierre, no.
Then what has become of it?
I tried to stop him. He wouldn't listen to me.
Jacques, eh? He sold it. Didn't he? Didn't he? Answer me,
Yes,
Rouen.
I tried to stop him, but I couldn't.
Where did he go? Where did he go?
To the cafe in town, I think. But it's late. He should be back soon. Oh, Pierre, what shall we do with him?
I do not know. Imagine a youth of 17 selling his family's own furniture so that he may carouse in a cafe.
Maybe he isn't really bad. Maybe he just needs someone to talk to him.
Jacques, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
Where have you been, Jacques?
Oh, at the cafe. Is it your business to know?
Your mother and I want to talk to you, Jacques.
All right. Make it quick.
Jacques, listen to your father now.
Son, you are old enough to make your own way.
You mean work?
And what is so wrong in earning your bread with your hands, eh?
Fishing. I cannot stand the smell.
If one can handle the money that comes from fish, it is not too much to stand their smell, Jacques.
Canbermays have always been men of the sea.
It is not too much to ask of my son.
Oh. Maybe it is better if I go away.
Jacques,
No, son, that is not what we meant.
it's just that times are getting a little harder. There's your uncle's family to think of. Joseph's wife is sick, and the little girl, Perrot, needs a doctor's care. It all takes money.
Well, let them pay their own way.
Have a care, Jacques.
It is true.
He is my brother. One must be loyal to his kin, whatever.
And I say I am closer than your brother. Charity begins at home. If you are giving any money, then why not give it to me?
We're already half poor from all your carryings on.
Oh, say nothing of that, Cherie.
But all you are asking of him is to lend a hand with the fishing. To earn the bread he eats and the money he spends.
Will you be quiet, woman? You have put my father up to this.
Have a care, Jacques. You are talking to your mother.
Well, if it had not been for her, nothing would have been said about the furniture. Meddling old woman.
Silence!
No!
Pierre, don't you kill him!
Get up, Jacques.
His head is cut. Suppose you've killed him.
2 a.m. So late and I'm so tired. Rouen, is that you?
Yes. Where are you?
In bed.
So dark.
Have you been in Jacques' room? Huh?
Yes,
How is he now?
a little better. It was a bad beating you gave him.
He should not have spoken to you that way.
Oh, I didn't mind, really. But it was unkind the way he spoke of Joseph and his family. Of little Perrot. How's the mother, by the way?
No better. I fear for her.
Bad. So tired.
Come to bed, Rouen.
Yes, I will. Good night.
Good night. Ah, the bed feels good tonight.
Pierre,
What is it?
there's someone in the room. A thief.
Who is it? Who is it, I
Light
say?
the candle, Pierre.
Yes.
Over that way. There.
Jacques!
Jacques!
Jacques, what are you doing here?
Why aren't you in bed, son?
Answer me, Jacques. What are you doing in this room?
Yes. What's that in his hand?
Stay where you are. Both of you.
It looks like... Hold the light higher, Pierre.
Yes.
It's a knife.
Jacques, what are you doing with that knife?
Stand back. Don't come near me.
Put down that knife. You would murder us in our beds.
Stand back, I warn
You
you.
need a knife, Jacques. You wouldn't dare stab your own mother.
I'll stab anybody. Anybody. Do you hear? Anybody!
Rouen, where are you? Oh, there you are.
You're home early, Pierre.
The fish are running poorly. Where have you been?
At your brother's?
Oh, how is his wife today?
Worse.
And little Perrot?
She still needs nursing.
Oh, I saw Joseph at the fishery on the way home. They need more money.
We're running low. But What we have, we share.
You're a kind one, Rouen. Doctors and medicines for the sick, that always takes money. And Perrot, she's such a tiny thing and so helpless.
I've fixed it so that later on she'll not be so bad off.
What do you mean?
In my mattress, I've sewed a Spanish doubloon wrapped in paper. I've written on the paper for Perrot, so that there's no mistake as to whose it is.
Where is Jacques?
On another spree.
With what?
I don't know. He asked me for money, but as you told me, I refused him another centime.
He must learn to work for what he gets. I would like to visit my brother's place before supper.
Look out, Pierre.
What is this, Rouen?
Water for my flowers. This dry spell, you know.
But must it stand in the doorway?
Go along to your brother's. Supper in an hour.
Oh, wait. Who is that coming up the path? Look through the window.
Oh, it's Father Gabot, the rector from Pirioc.
I will let him in.
I wonder why he comes now.
Oh, good day, Father.
Good day. I come with sad news, my friend.
Sad news. Joseph's wife.
The fever. It was too much for her. She passed away.
Joseph will fish with me tomorrow.
Sardines running any better?
Not yet. A break in the weather would be good.
For my garden, too.
It will be harder taking Joseph on this way.
We'll manage.
If Jacques would only lend a hand. More hands are needed in hard times. Every little catch helps.
As long as there are fish for you to catch, we'll eat.
But a man needs meat now and again. Is that you, Broin?
Yes. Came down to the shore because I couldn't wait. I have something to tell you.
I have something to tell you.
Here.
Look at this paper. I found it floating at the shore.
My handwriting.
For Perrot, it says.
You know, then.
The Spanish doubloon. Where is it?
I don't know, Pierre. I looked for it this afternoon. I thought I'd take it to a safer place or give it to Perrot now when she needs it so much. But
Yes.
It was not in the mattress.
Jacques. He found your hiding place.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the cafe to find Jacques. To see if he took the coin. Go up to the house, Broin. Go up and wait for me. Florent. Have you seen my son, Jacques?
He is in there, in the billiard room.
Has he paid his score yet?
Yes,
Let me see with what he has paid you.
certainly. No, where is it? Oh, this coin, Pierre.
My son paid you with that, eh?
But naturally.
No, I'll take it. Here is silver for it. You see, there is a cross marked on the coin. I have sentimental reasons for keeping it.
I understand.
You did not tell my son I was here. Eh?
Oh, of course not. I thought...
that is good.
Thank you, Pierre.
I thank you, Florent.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Did you find him, Pierre?
Yes,
Where?
at Florent's cafe.
And the coin. Did you find the coin?
Look, is this it?
Yes. It has the cross on it.
Right.
Does he know?
No, Florent brought it to me secretly after Jacques paid his bill.
What are we going to do?
Find your wedding gown, Broin. You will have to wear it for what I plan. You look beautiful, Broin, the day of our wedding when you wore that gown.
To think now I must wear it for this.
Never mind. It is the custom. A mother and father in their wedding clothes shall judge an erring son. Oh, fetch 2 candles from the kitchen, eh? And the 3-legged stool, too. There. We shall sit as judge and jury on this side of the fire. There. Now Jacques will sit here opposite us. Now the candles, eh? There now. That gives enough light.
That gun in the chimney corner, Pierre.
Careful, it is loaded.
Pierre, I'm afraid. What are you going to do?
What must be, must be.
But
He is coming. It is either very dark or he's very drunk. Let him in, eh?
What's this? Is there going to be a wedding?
Sit down, Jacques.
Maybe this bucket of water will clear his head.
No. Sit down,
me alone.
Jacques. Sit down on the stool there.
Do as your father says.
What is this?
You have sinned against your mother and father. We are sitting in judgment over you.
See here, you can't do this. The law won't.
If you make any noise, if you stir, if you don't sit up like a mast on your stool, I will shoot you like a dog.
He means what he says, Jack.
What do you want?
Here is a bit of paper. Look at it. Have you ever seen it?
No.
Look closer. At the handwriting. That is your mother's handwriting, is it not?
I guess so.
Guess so. You know it is.
All right, yes.
See what it says? For Perrot. It says for little Perrot, who has no mother, whose father is suffering hard times, who needs every centime anyone can offer.
Well...
Your mother wrapped up a Spanish doubloon in that bit of paper, sewed the whole of it into her mattress.
And now, Jacques, the coin is no longer in the mattress.
Oh. And I'm supposed to know where the coin is.
Sit still. I found that bit of paper floating on the water when I came in. And then your mother told me of the missing coin. So I went to town. You were at Florence this afternoon, were you not, Jacques?
Well, how did you...
You did not think I knew, did you? But you don't deny it, eh?
All right, I was at Florence.
And you paid your score with a Spanish doubloon.
What if I did? There are other gold coins in the country besides what my mother hides in her mattresses.
Nobody but we three knew it was there.
Yeah. Maybe you took it and hid it, so as to blame me.
Jacques!
Tell you, I did not take the coin.
How came you by the doubloon then?
I got it north.
How can you prove it?
I tell you, I got it there.
You insist you did not take your mother's coin, eh?
I did not take it.
Can you swear it on your salvation?
I can't.
Not swear if it's not true. You can repent and mend your ways. There's still time.
Oh, be quiet, old woman. You have always tried to ruin me.
That is another thing to add to your wrongs. Now come to the point. Will you swear?
Yes.
All right, now. Take a look at this coin, which Florent gave me. The one with which you paid your bill this afternoon. See the cross on the coin where the sardine merchant nicked it before he paid me? Did the coin you picked up in Nantes have that cross marked on it?
Well, I...
Answer me!
No.
Enough talk. I say nothing of all the wrong you've done before. No Cambrémé shall die in the marketplace at Croisic. Say your prayers, Jacques, and let us be quick. Father Gabot is coming to hear your confession. He is already coming up the path to the house. Open the door for him, Brouin.
Will you come in now, Father?
Thank you.
Bonjour, Father.
Bonjour.
Jacques is waiting for you.
I am ready, son.
No.
He is waiting for your confession, Jacques.
Speak, Jacques. The crime is worse than concealed. Confess to it. That makes it easier.
Your mother is right, young man. The crime will weigh heavier on your conscience if you do not speak up.
No. If I confess, he'll kill me.
You seem to fear death more than eternal damnation.
I will not do it. I will not do it.
It is no use, Father. I guess he has always been willful, this boy. That has been the curse of this household ever since he was born.
Very well. But you will not be needing me any longer. I have other visits to make, you know.
Of course, Father. Pardon us, sir, for bringing you so far. I meant to give my son a lesson.
Good night, then.
Good night, Father.
Good night, Father.
Not another word. Get off to bed now.
It's better this way. Maybe he'll repent.
No, not him.
Nevertheless, I'm glad you didn't hurt him.
Never mind. This night is not over yet. I shall wait until he is asleep.
What are you going to do?
What must be, must be.
What are you going to do?
You shall see. You shall see.
Who's there? That light, I can't see. Who is it? Father. That rope. That strip of silk. What are you going to do to me?
Pierre! No! Don't do it!
If you will not help me, I will do it alone.
No! Don't do this! No, let me go!
Get it now. Tie his feet. There.
Where are you taking him? What are you going to do with my son? you done with Jack? What have you got in your hand? It's Jacques' cap. Where is he? Why are you holding his cap? Tell me, what have you done with him? Here, what? His cap. It fell into the bucket of water. It's floating. Here. It's floating on the surface of the water. Oh, Jacques, my son.
It broke my poor wife's heart. She died within a week, and I was never the same. The thought of what I had done haunts me. I could not fish by day. I could not sleep by night. In the end, my conscience drove me to go to see a priest. He refused me absolution until I promised to tell my story to a justice, which I did. He sentenced me to this. And here I sit, a man under a vow, doomed to watch over the water, to talk with no one, sitting, watching, waiting.
From the time-worn pages of the past, we have brought you The Strange Judgment. Bellkeeper, hold the bell.
You're listening to the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society, and that was Strange Judgment, an episode of the series Weird Circle. Once again, I'm Eric.
I'm Tim.
I'm Joshua.
And this week it was Tim's pick, and he picked this episode of Weird Circle. In the beginning of the podcast, we gave some information out about Weird Circle. We also said the words Balzac and titular, and that was a lot of fun. Really, I would like to know more about Weird Circle, like in general. I know there's not a lot to know, but
The main thing to know about them is that they focused on adaptations.
have you listened to Weird Circle before this, Tim?
Yes.
And in general, does this fit what they usually do, the kind of style that the show is about?
This story is, I think, a little off the beaten path of what they usually like. Edgar Allan Poe is kind of their meat and potatoes or similar stories of that era and that type.
Right.
They've done a couple of Balzac stories. Balzac. And a couple other stories that have some gruesome elements to them but aren't necessarily spine tinglers.
Right.
Of which this is one of those, I think.
So where does this, have you listened to this one before for this podcast? This is new to you.
Yeah, I was digging through Weird Circle because I wanted a Weird Circle one. And this one struck me because I didn't recognize the title right off the bat. In fact, it took me a bit of Googling. Quite a bit of Googling to figure out who wrote this originally and where it came from.
And who did write it originally? I know he's
Honoré Balzac.
Right. Can you
Famed
say
French author.
Right. Can you
Honoré
say the
Balzac.
story again without looking at your notes?
Un drame au bord de la mer.
Wow. Wow.
Took a little bit of French in high school.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
I thought maybe you just practiced for the podcast to show off.
No. Oh, no.
And I'm going to guess that translates to the drama of the guy that lived in a cave.
Very literally, it's drama at the edge of the sea.
Oh, I was so close.
Yes, very close. The original story had this framing device of this writer and his girlfriend who are having a great time at the sea, and then there's this fisherman, and they have a bidding war to buy his fish, and then they discover this weird guy up there, and they learn his story, and then that's the...
I wonder why they cut that out.
We'll talk about that. Tim, why? What is it that you're attracted to about this episode? What are the elements that you love about this? Or perhaps you hate it, and why did you give it to us? I guess I shouldn't assume you like it.
I liked it because after it was done, there's a number of stories that I read, and I get to or in this case, listen to, and I get to the end, and my reaction is, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And when I go back, I'm like, oh, there was a lot of interesting things in there that were hitting me that I didn't recognize at the time.
Right.
And this was a story like that, I felt, that it had a lot going on under the hood.
Right. Sometimes with this podcast, I listen to it once, take my notes, I'm good. I listened to this one 3 times. There was some stuff I was like, what now? Am I missing something? We'll get to those. Joshua, your thoughts, initial thoughts of this episode of Weird Circle.
I thought it was interesting, and not in a passive-aggressive Minnesota way. I say interesting.
When we come off stage and people in Minnesota say, well, you look like you were having fun up there.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
The structure was really interesting, and it almost, at the beginning, it almost had a little bit of a comedy structure where they kept going back to Jacques the father. No, it's Pierre, excuse me.
Yes, yeah.
Pierre the father was having Jacques' poor behavior described to him, and he kept going, oh, he'll be much better when he's blank age. And
Right.
it
It
had
sounds
this
like a setup
repetitive
to a
structure.
joke.
Yep. And each time it got
Then the
worse
boy
and
turned
worse.
10.
Yeah.
And the father said, oh, he'll be better when he turns 15.
Took someone's eye out.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and I think maybe because this is an older story, culturally, some of what Pierre dismisses early on seems like the most horrific stuff, right? They're strangling foul and then putting out a young girl's eye, and he's like, boys will be boys, but But he talks back to his mother or steals a doubloon, and then it's like, I have you at gunpoint now, child.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like it's a sort of family honor system where
Yeah, that's very much.
that seems to be the most important thing going on in this story.
Whenever things like that occur that by today's standards, like boys will be boys, I always just go, you know what, I'm just going to let that go. Maybe at that time that was okay.
Yeah.
You have to really step out of your current time,
Correct.
I think, to get into this story.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think you did even when the story was broadcast.
Right.
Yes.
Here's a couple of notes. First of all, I'm going to see if anybody else got this. He was describing himself in his shaggy hands.
Yeah.
I went back and listened 3 times. I'm telling you, he's saying shaky. Nope. Shaggy. He has shaggy hands, which means that, like, they could eat a giant sandwich. It's a
Scooby-Doo joke. I just got it.
or he grew hair on his hands, but he is indeed saying shaggy.
Sort of a Gallic.
Okay.
No, I think it is a trait of people of that sort of genetic
Of
trait.
werewolves?
To be, yes. I'm thinking they're loup-garou. More French.
I love his reaction, the father's reaction when he finds out that he's going to have a baby. Good, we can take him to the carnival. It was like instantaneous. That's what I'm going to do. Take him to the carnival. At the carnival, just so you know, also the 3 most important things a boy can do as he grew up. He got peppermint sticks, a gun, and a bicycle.
Yes.
Yeah, in that order.
That is roughly the skill set and tools that you need to rob a
I'm
Super
remembering
America.
right, they were pointing out that other kids don't have bicycles, which sort of implied peppermint sticks and guns were
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
prevalent.
You can have the peppermint stick, you can have the gun, but you crossed a line at the bicycle.
Here's an interesting thing, and this is something that bothered me about it. We're in France. Here and there, some people bothered with the French accent. Some didn't. Like that was all over the place. Like
It was inconsistently directed, and I think it was let down a lot by the actor who played Jacques, particularly. I thought he was pretty horrible. I mean, he just came in like, "Why are you being so mean to me, Mom?" is essentially what he was doing. And I loved. This is the script, though. I love when he came in and he got mad at his mother because it's like, "Oh, if you wouldn't have made a big deal out of it, no one would have noticed that I sold all the furniture in the house."
one of my notes. Yep. If you wouldn't have said anything, no one would have noticed. You gotta die. I'm gonna kill you for that. That was a weird moment. Here's another thing that bothered me a little bit. I found the lack of music made me crazy. Like, I think it needed some stings, some orchestral stings, some music, something to move it along. It became very Bergman Swedish film-like. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. As one of the things in my looking up information, they call it research. I'll say research. In one of my research about Weird Circle, my research on Weird Circle is that it distinctly had a lack of music, and not so much as a choice, but as just kind of its lean on production elements.
Aha. It was easier.
Yeah.
The only Foley, the sound effects in this whole thing. Okay, so these people, everywhere they go, is a hardwood floor, and they're all wearing clogs. There's so much walking on hardwood floors, and then they would, like, all right, I'm going to leave. Clomp, clomp, clomp. And so much silence, and then they would leave. And it would take forever. There was a lot of that, and that was the only sound effects. So I started to think, is this terrible, or is this a choice to create some kind of suspense or some kind of, you know what I mean? Like
very generous of you.
Okay.
Well,
Right, so
it's
not
interesting
that.
from a modern perspective to think of a low-budget radio program. Because to us, it seems like, it wouldn't be that hard to just make these noises, right?
Well, do it with your mouth.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I mean, I guess it's extra people to hire.
I guess.
But yeah, you're right. It is very slim on sound and atmosphere.
So there's an atmosphere. So it could have clipped. I think if they would have clipped this along and picked up the pace and added those things, we might have had a 10-minute story. That might have been an issue with it. Also, speaking of the story now, instead of the production elements, so this kid tried to kill him while they're sleeping, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not when they gave up on him.
I know.
You're right.
They, all right, one more. He tried to kill him while they were sleeping. So boys will be boys.
Yeah, but you steal a Spanish doubloon. There's no coming back from that, man.
Right.
And
Well, it
then
wasn't
they,
just that. Is he swore to God that he didn't do it.
You're right. We are missing a layer, and we are making jokes about it. But it is definitely of its time, and because there is some sort of traditional element, particularly when Pierre says, there is some tradition where they can judge a son dressed in their wedding clothes.
I was so convinced when that came up, like, did I not know about this? Is this some classic thing that everyone... Could my folks have done this to me?
Right.
It's really, yeah. Also, they can fit in their wedding clothes?
Now, did you do that thing? What do you call it? Research?
Yes.
Did you do any research on that?
I did. And as far as I could tell, that he just made that up.
Okay, good. So did I, because I got hung up on that. Like, wait, did they put on wedding clothes and have,
Because it was presented so like, well, obviously, this is our only recourse is to put on our outfits.
But I will say it's a nice bit of writing because it sounds plausible as an old folk tradition.
Yeah, well, I wrote, why the hell is she in her wedding dress? Just to make things crazier? Like, put on your wedding dress.
Well,
I mean, it
the next time one of my children brings home a bad grade from school, I'm gonna put on my
wedding dress,
my wife's wedding dress, and go, time for judgment.
You know what? I bet you they wouldn't do it again. You showed up in your wife's wedding dress and
I'll
said,
go to their
"Sit down."
school.
Oh yeah, there you go. So actually, this is a really good idea. We're onto something here. The cap at the end. Am I missing something? He drops the cap. Now, I know she mentions the bucket of water earlier. So we know the bucket of water is by the door. So he's obviously holding the kid's cap. He drops it. She's the only one that can describe it. Goes in the water, and it doesn't float. So I did that thing. What do you call it again? It's research?
Yeah.
And I did that trying to figure out, is there something to dropping a person's hat in water to see if it floats or not? Is there anything to this?
As near as I can tell, and I didn't read the original short story as thoroughly as I could have, but...
Well, it was in French.
Well, the translation of the original short story is like... I don't think that's from the story. I could be wrong on that. But I think it was just clear that he took the boy out and drowned him.
Okay, so my question is there an old wives' tale or some kind of superstition that if you take a dead person's hat and put it in water, if it floats,
I think they were just trying to be arty.
Okay.
Yeah. I think
And he
was my
dropped it in the water, and that's supposed to be an image. And I think it would have been more effective as a visual, like a film image.
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
But here,
Orson Welles shot, right?
yeah,
Right.
Here it's just her reacting as if throwing a cap in a bucket of water is the universal symbol for "I drowned our son."
And she's describing it, and, oh no, he's drowned. And I was like, so I didn't miss anything. So it was an attempt at Artie.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good.
We might get some angry emails from small villages in France. But...
Oh, that'd be great.
Again, they would have never found out the furniture was gone.
Well, what are some of the layers, Tim, that you found in it going back?
So here's one of the most fascinating things to me in this is that he went to his priest afterward, and the priest would not give him absolution until he confessed to the crime. Mm-hmm. What church in the world would you come to them and it's like, I had sinned terribly, I must confess, and they would say, who cares? Have you actually taken resposibility for this? Have you accepted the punishment for it?
Yeah, that's not how it works, is it? Like,
Not normally, but it's kind of amazing.
I wish it was that way.
But thematically, that's the same issue that got his
son in trouble, yes.
In trouble is that he refused to confess to the priest that he actually stole the doubloon.
Yes, and he never took responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so his father takes the responsibility that his son did not take.
Yes.
And ends up a shaggy-handed hermit.
And it is clearer in the short story that the place where he is sitting is he's being forced to look out at the spot where he drowned his son.
Ooh.
Oh.
And that's missing.
That's missing.
Yeah,
that would have been a nice end.
That would have been...
And he can't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, his punishment seems kind of random in the radio show.
I wish I would have known that he was looking where his son drowned. That actually puts a nice bow on this. I was going to talk about this whole thing. It was weird. It was very random.
Yeah.
You mentioned at the beginning that, or when we were talking here about the original short story, was more about these people discovering this crazy man in a cave.
Yes. And again, we're on a little tight schedule here. I didn't have a chance to read the whole thing really
fine.
thoroughly. But it was this writer-artist, and he's out at the sea having a swim with his lover, and he's invigorated and he's energized. And then they learn the story. He writes the story down, but it's crushed his spirit a little bit.
I liked the idea of the story of the man in the cave, and I think the whole thing could have been about that. Like, why he got there could have taken 2 minutes.
That's, I think, closer to what the story is.
Like, oh, here's why I'm here. But then, like, his life and this torture of living in a cave, not being able to speak, looking where his son
That's not what the story is.
But you know what I mean? Like, that being the focus of this guy's torturous punishment would be more interesting. They could have told why he was there in very quick amount of time, and I would have been more interested in that part of it than the long story of how he got there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think, Joshua?
Yeah, ultimately, I found it interesting. So, I mean, my vote would have to be to categorize it as historically interesting, but I don't know that it necessarily stands the test of time.
Yeah, or if it did, even at the time.
At the time, yeah, I don't think at its broadcast it must have made some people scratch their heads.
The reason I even included it at all as something that would be suspenseful or horrific is in that moment of coming home to your parents and they're dressed up and they have a gun.
Yeah, no, that is a shocking moment.
It sounds
In their wedding clothes.
I know, it sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but you go home and your parents are in their wedding outfit and they got a gun.
If we rewrote this from the kid's perspective and just that night, I open the door and my mom's in a wedding dress, Dad's holding a gun, right? That's a good story.
Yeah, I mean, and he does abduct his son. He ties him up and drags him out of the house. It has a shocking end. I did not see that coming.
Well, it took him long enough.
You're right.
He tried to kill him while they were sleeping. What was the final straw, though, was the doubloon.
Yeah, as it usually is.
Yeah, as it usually is. Tim, why did you kind of touched on it, so you picked this one because you liked the elements and layers of it?
I did, and the title of Strange Judgment, before I knew that that wasn't the original title, really appealed to me. And the strange judgment of the pair, like, how is that a thing you can do? Is pass judgment on your child? The judgment of the priest who absolved him if you do this, to like, well, I'll give you absolution if you confess, and then you promise to sit and watch the spot where your son drowned for the rest of your life and never talk to anyone about it. That's strange.
I will say this, it makes me want to read the original story,
Right.
For sure.
Absolutely. And I'll say it again. If someone would have told me in this radio broadcast that he was looking at the place where his son drowned forever, I would have given this much higher marks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting piece that's missing. That's super important in his punishment.
Yes, yeah.
Really important.
I suppose we could have put it together.
No, you. Are you telling me something?
No, I didn't put it together.
All right,
Like
fine.
the hat in the bucket. You know, come on. You interpret what it means.
Well, if your hat floats, it means 6 days bad luck, right? Something like that.
Drowned a groundhog.
So, you found it historically interesting, and you liked it, but not standing the test of time,
No,
Joshua?
I wouldn't say so.
Tim, you found it?
Oh, yes, same thing. It's historically fascinating to me. I think Weird Circle, some of their other adaptations of more traditional horror things are probably going to rank higher, but this one was super interesting to me. So,
Too much walking on hardwood floors for me, in furnitureless rooms. Well, I would agree with all of that. There are elements so that I do like. And I think Josh was right. I think the best thing to come out of this is let's find that story and read that. All right. Well, this is the Mysterious Old Radio Listening Society podcast. Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to learn more about all sorts of stuff, go to
GhoulishDelights.com.
What's there, Tim?
There we have both past episodes of this podcast, as well as information about our upcoming shows. We're going to be performing at the James J. Hill Library in St. Paul coming up on January 29th.
Something like that. Last Sunday of every month through May. And we're doing recreations of shows that we have had on the air here. And so come see us do that. Also, iTunes thingies.
Yeah, go to iTunes, write a review if you enjoyed this podcast, please. And also at GhoulishDelights.com, you can take our poll and you can tell us whether you thought Strange Judgment stood the test of time or not. And it'd be great to hear from you in whatever form you want to communicate with us.
All right. Well, coming up next time, it'll be Joshua's pick.
Yes. Next time, I am bringing an episode of X-1 called Hostess by Isaac Asimov. Until then...
Look out!